Hey there, Contractor Kev here with Overseas Contractor Academy, and today we're going to be talking about leaving the job. Whether you're leaving the job or the job's leaving you, believe it or not, it's not as bad as you think it is. So we're going to cover that, talk a little bit about it, come back in 12 seconds. Okay, so the first thing, let's talk about if the job leaves you. So if you get fired, whether it's for some silly violation or you just keep sleeping in and you can't show up on time, whatever it is, if for some reason you end up leaving the job, it is not the end of the world. Will it suck? Yes, absolutely. I can't think of too many times, unless you're like Peter on Office Space. Like, man, getting fired from that job might have been good for him.
I don't like my job, and I don't think I'm gonna go anymore.
You're just not gonna go?
Yeah.
Won't you get fired?
I don't know. But I really don't like it, and I'm not gonna go.
But in general, most people find getting fired to be a very negative experience. And when you're overseas, it takes you a little bit to be sent home and for them to get all the paperwork organized and blah, blah, blah. So it's not like, when you're at home, you're just like, okay, they're saying I gotta go, pack up my desk, walk out to my car with my little box and drive home and, cry in a few beers or a bottle of wine or whatever. Like, no, over here, they've got to have the paperwork and all that, and clear your visa, clear your property that you're living in and all that. So it takes a little bit of time. And so, but it's not a totally positive experience. However, the thing I want to make sure to emphasize is it's not the end of the world. That, if you get fired for something really stupid that I've warned you about, like drinking alcohol or having porn, you're an idiot, first off, because you just gave up a 6-figure job for jerking off or for a drink. Either way, real stupid. But that said, if you lose your job, you can find another one, I promise you. So to illustrate this point, I'm gonna tell you a story from my life where I was working for a company. I'm not gonna name the company, let's call them Company X. That company has a lot of contracts. They're a pretty big player in the contracting world. And I got sent to a Marine Corps base. I don't try to be a tough guy, really. I joined the branch of military that was appropriate to me and my sensibilities. Like, don't get me wrong, I think the Marines have like the coolest friggin' uniform ever. And if you're in a fight, you want the Marines at your back, because like the Marines are badass. They are the tough guys of a fight. But that ain't me, man. That ain't me. And it was a bad fit for me, because this particular Marine colonel that ran that base was like, his first move was, well, Marines eat chow hall food. I'm not allowing any other food besides chow hall food on my base. And this is in Afghanistan, so it's not like you could just go off base and go somewhere else. So he took away, all the stuff that was there, Burger King, Pizza Hut, blah, 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 like, gone. He got rid of it because it's his base, and who's gonna tell him no? So they got rid of that, and it kind of sucked. And then the next step was, well, Marines all know how to go to like use a field latrine. And so all these, trailer units with toilets and all that, like, that's just, everyone's gonna be living like the Marines here. So he got rid of like almost all the damn crapper units on the base, and everyone had to use porta potties. Now, personally, I know this is prima donna as shit. I cannot stand sitting down to take a dump in one of those nasty, disgusting porta johns. Like, I would really have to be facing some serious problems before I would choose to do that. Like, it bothers me. I'm sorry. That's just the way I am. I know, and here's the problem with working at the level that I do, is I know there's like perfectly good trailer units that have, decent toilets and plumbing and all that. And he's pulled them and they're sitting in a yard somewhere on base. And it was so frustrating to me, because basically the one I knew about was almost a 1-mile walk away. So every day, literally, after I had some coffee in the morning, I was feeling that familiar bumbling, rumbling feeling, Like, yeah, I had to walk almost a mile to take a dump, and it sucked, man. It sucked so bad. Every time you're like, ugh. Like, those kinds of things kept going on, and it wasn't my thing, and I knew it. So I went ahead and quit that job. And I with respect, I gave him a couple weeks notice. I probably should have given him 30 days is more the traditional thing. I gave him a couple weeks notice, I think 2 weeks. Flew out, and the thing was, what it was honestly, Christmas was coming up, and I wanted to be in Thailand with my girlfriend in my apartment for Christmas. I didn't want to be sitting on some crappy Marine base in southern Afghanistan. So I quit that job, and after I'd been hanging out and doing what I did, hopping all around Southeast Asia the way I typically do, living that contractor lifestyle and partying and kind of exploring and doing that, I started to look for another job. And guess who contacts me? That same company, but now they want me to go to a different base in Afghanistan. And so I told them, hey, I worked for you guys before. It's even on my resume. Here's why I left. And they literally were like, yeah, we understand. We'll hire you again. Like, really? I quit on you guys. They're like, yeah, it happens. So, and then once I got on and I was telling people, because I went back to work for them, and then when I was telling people, like, I quit this company before, they're like, dude, we've had people get fired. People got fired in other countries. But when they need people, they need people. And they look at it as, at least you've been overseas, you know what the deal is, you've worked overseas. Even if you screwed it up and got fired, as long as it wasn't some huge thing like you punched your boss in the nose or something, you didn't physically attack anyone or whatever, if it was something relatively minor and you got fired, they'll hire you back. I was like, holy shit, really? Okay, so there you have it. I wanted to show off the shirt. Iraq now, baby. Yeah, shirt of the day. Basically got this at Camp Slayer in Iraq. That even just sounds badass. Like, I was at Camp Slayer. It's just another camp in Iraq. So there you have it. You can just basically let them know this wasn't a good fit, or I got fired for this silly reason or whatever. But I learned my lesson, and I want to go back overseas, and I'm hoping to really be a positive part of some new team. And they'll take you. They'll take you on, and so you can get back on a horse, but you will have to just put in the effort and find the job. We'll see you next week. Hit the like or subscribe. Thanks a lot.